What's going on, everybody? Zavich here, and for those of you who are interested in the 6.5 Unchained Fresh Start or are going to be playing it, there is some information to go over. There are some changes to how this Fresh Start is going to be compared to Fresh Starts of the past, as well as some things that have just changed with the game in general that you should know about. So let's get after it. The first part is that these servers are going to be completely isolated to themselves. They are not going to have any cross-world interaction with any of the current Unchained servers at this time. They may be connected at a later date based upon the server's growth. So once you reach a certain gear score value on the server, they'll probably open it up a little bit more so that queues aren't as much of an issue if there are any. But as of right now, solo isolation. So Housey is just your server, Dungeons just your server, all of that. Will labor be shared or separate on old servers and the fresh starts? All right, now this is a tricky one, and this is one where you need to know stuff now. Account-based labor is shared across all servers. So this fresh start, you do not need a new account to play it. Okay? In the past, for all fresh starts, you always needed to make a new account. This is important to know now, because if you are planning to play it and you do not have a current Unchained account, you need to get one now, get a character made and logged in so that you can start building up your base labor pool. So that 5k labor, if you have 5k labor saved up on a character on, say, Tyrannos, that 5k labor will be available to you at the start of the Unchained server launch for the 6.5 on Stena or whichever one the EU one is, okay? Now, the green labor, the one that uses the labor recharges, those are not cross-server. So if you have a character on Tyrannos, Dinistrius, Win, wherever, and you have a bunch of labor charges saved up there and you're thinking, oh, I'm just going to pump a bunch of these in and I'm going to have all this labor for my character on the fresh start, that's not how it works. That labor is server specific. That green bar, that only refills that green labor bar, so that will not help you. However, that will allow you to, if you do have a character on those servers and you want to generate and you want to use labor over there, you can just keep pumping those without taking away from your main labor pool, and you can save that main labor pool for your fresh start character, if that's what you would want to do. So just so you know, that labor is going to be account bound this time. This is kind of, you know, because let's be honest, they've had really bad server starts in the past where some people started with 5k labor, others didn't. Those of you who played the 4.5 fresh start, some people who bought Patron early had 5k labor at the start because it started generating labor early, and the people who didn't buy Patron early didn't have labor at the start. So it created a really screwy economy right out the gate for some people. At least this way, there's a definitive way for everybody to start on the same playing field labor-wise. So if you don't have an account, get one now, buy the base game, get a character made so that you can start generating that labor. If you already have an account, you're chilling. Don't worry about it. Just get your DLC and get ready to make a character. If the servers have too long of a queue, will more servers be introduced? As of right now, they are not planning for more than one server for each region. So ideally, that would be the case because that creates a longer server lifespan if it's just one server. It depends on just how many people they have. I don't foresee this fresh start having a massive amount of players flocking to it, but I do foresee it, you know, bringing back X amount of people based on the fact that there are still X amount of people after the last 6 years that are still coming back to this game no matter what. So there will be players who come back. How many? Hard to say. I don't think it'll be enough to where they feel like they have to make a second server. You just might have to deal with queues for a couple days, honestly. So we'll see. But as of right now, one server. Will there be a landlock? If so, for how long? Yes. So like all other servers, landlock going to be the same situation, depending on when the server goes live, because they haven't given a specific date yet. They just said it's going to be around a couple days around when the patch drops. So depending on when that is, will depend on how long that takes, because obviously if they drop the patch on like a Friday, they're not gonna be like, hey, we're gonna have landlock tomorrow on Saturday. Like, it'll probably be the following weekend. So hard to say how long we'll have that for, but it will depend on how much skill that people are able to make. for that land based on how much time there is. So we will see about that one. But yeah, there will be a land lock initially. Will the Arc Pass be restricted at the beginning of the Fresh Start? Now, this is an interesting one. Currently, there's an ongoing discussion about the restrictions, if any, regarding the Arc Pass for the Fresh Start servers. Once we get more information about the Arc Pass, we will forward the information and update the answer to this question. So I think what they might be wondering there, what they're talking about there, is that they don't know yet what the next season Arc Pass is going to have on it. So they may hold off on it initially if it has one of those fortune boxes on the reward track, which gives just gold straight up. So that's, and as of right now, that's the only like straight gold on the Arc Pass. We'll show that in a little bit. There's some changes to the Arc Pass as well. We'll talk about that at the end because that's one of those things to look at. That's a little bit different this time from the 6.0 launch. There's no gold on the Arc Pass for the most part. Will world bosses such as DGS be disabled at the beginning of the Fresh Start? No. So all bosses are going to be up right away. So DGS, Kraken, Black Dragon, all that stuff is going to be in at the very beginning. Nothing's being gated this time. There's no reason for it. It's not even an issue if DGS is up at the beginning. So none of that's going to be restricted. Now this is a big one, and this is going to be a double-edged sword. Will there be name reservation or character creation available at the Fresh Start servers before the Fresh Start servers? No, there is going to be no name reservation or character creation. So this is a good and bad situation, and it's bad in the sense that it's going to absolutely throttle their login servers as well as their character creation servers. Just like there are going to be so many people on character create all at the same time. The good part of this is that for people who are less worried about how their character looks, or they know like exactly how their character looks, they're going to be like going in right away, getting in, and you're going to have a little funnel of people entering the starting zones over time. You're gonna have a staggered entry into the starting zones as people are making their characters at different paces and whatnot, instead of everybody logging in at the same time and all zoning into those starting zones at the same time. That will ease up the server load a little bit on those starting zones. So that is a positive to this. However, it is going to create a big bottleneck in the character creation. So we'll see. And I am also concerned about some people staying on the character creation page and that, holding up the queue spots as well and everything like that. So that is something to take note of right now. Now, this is the other one that's going to be the real big one. There is only one character allowed on the server for the Fresh Start at a time per account. So if you have one account, one character, 2 accounts, 2 characters, 3 accounts, 3 characters. Okay. This is big because this does not allow you to create an alt on that one account, so you can't have 2 characters on one account, or 6 characters if you have 3 accounts, because they're people multi-account. We're not, everybody knows it. This is big because this prevents you from doing the Arc Pass on an alt as well and getting those extra benefits, getting those extra labor recharges, getting the extra gold from fortune boxes, getting extra honor from there, all of that stuff. So this will actually have an effect on the economy as well as your progression, because this will cut back overall the amount of labor, the amount of gold, and the amount of honor that you're generating on a daily basis. It is nice though, because it will allow you to just like focus on your main character. You're not, like, oh, I got to do this on this character, and then I got to do it on the alt as well. It's just like, oh, you just take care of your main character. Good to go. All right. So that is something that's really interesting. Another big thing that's not here, but is in the patch notes, which by the way, guys, I'll have links to all of this stuff in the description, is that with this patch, we are getting weekly quests. All right, so the weekly quests are going to reset on Sundays, and they are easy. It's really simple. This is stuff that's been wanted for a long time. There's 7 weekly quests, so a lot of the mundane ones that you have to do are being turned into weeklies, and they're not even that bad. They're actually really simple, but way less of a kill than what you would do over the course of a week. but the weekly quests are going to be for Reedwind, Sungold Fields, Exalock, Diamond Shores, and the Western Haram Mountain ones. All of them are kill times 200. So normally they were kill times 50 per day, and now they're kill times 200 for the week. And that's really big because that cuts out a lot. I mean, you're cutting out 150 for each quest over the course of a week. So that's a lot. That's a lot of mobs that you're cutting out. And it's gonna be really nice that you're gonna be able to just do these at the start of the week or the end of the week, whenever you want to do them. And you just don't have to worry about them again at all for the rest of the week. You can focus on other stuff. So that's really nice. The quests, the options are 50 Awakening Scrolls or 25 Infusions, or 50 Awakening Scrolls and 30 Infusions. Now, this one is the interesting one, the Diamond Shores one. They give you the option for a decrystallization scroll. That's really nice because honor is valuable. And so that's gonna be really good to have another source of decrystallization scrolls in the game to acquire from. So that is probably like the biggest change, game wise, in-game wise, in terms of things that are going to be going on. The other big change in-game wise is the Arc Pass. And if you look at it, there's a couple things to note. First off is that the quest, the mission completes for the Arc Pass. For those of you who haven't been playing and don't know, there is no longer gold on them. There was a whole big gold thing at the beginning that happened with the Arc Pass last time. There is no gold on the quest rewards this time. It is just 1 dilly per quest completion. So 12 dilly added to your weekly completion on the Arc Pass alongside what you get here. Now, a couple things to note about what is on the reward track now though, okay? The reward track, if you look at it from at least the last one and this current one, there are a couple new items on here. Again, there are a lot of people who probably haven't been playing since the beginning. A lot of people quit right at the start of the last Fresh Start or the AAU launch. So there's some things that are different on these Arc Passes. They have added a bunch of new items to it that are going to be big items, because originally last Fresh Start, when it started, the only way to get costumes and undergarments were from crafting them, and they were incredibly expensive to make. Now they're putting them on these reward tracks, just the bound basic version, and they're providing them to you, as well as they're even providing boxes that have Synthium shards in them so that you can feed the costumes as well. And these are all on the basic track. So that is going to actually be really nice in the sense of you're going to be able to steadily progress your costumes and undergarments at a definitive rate, and it's going to be less dictated upon, how much you're running GHA every day or Synthium shards. But yeah, so those will be really nice. There's a bunch of stuff that they've been adding on. They've even got Heroic Aurora Synthesis Stones, the labor, the honor pot values increase as well. And there's just a lot of nice stuff on this track now. That is the old one though. This is the new one, and it has some interesting stuff on it. The new one, by the new one, I mean the current season. And that is that, instead of them being the potion specifically, now it's you have the option between a vocation or an honor one, if you would so like. They put it in a crate. There is an adventurer's growth bundle, which can have serendipity stones, blue salt bonds, or sunlight juice. And then this one, the fortune box. I think this is the thing that they're really looking at about whether or not to have in at the start. If it's going to be on the this next coming season, is the fortune box. And the fortune box is spend 200 labor and you can get anywhere from 20 to 1,000 gold. Potentially that could be really messy economy wise if like a couple people do jackpot and do get like 1,000 gold right out the gate. But from what I've heard from people, for the most part, it's often less than 100 gold. But I have seen people get like over 500 gold from it. So it is possible that this could create like a massive influx of gold right out the gate, and does benefit people with more accounts, gold wise, like just as a flat gold amount into the game. So no idea if that is what they're like looking at, if it's going to be on the Arc Pass or not. If it's not on the Arc Pass, they'll probably just push it through. But again, here you go, bound gold cat crate, undergarments here, Cynthium shard tickets, and it just has, you know, a bunch of Cynthium shards on it. So lots of costume and undergarment progression that is going to be provided directly through the Arc Pass now. And so those are all really nice. Yeah, like a lot. So we'll see what kind of pass we have once we get on to the PTS. The PTS should be coming up in a couple days. And once that's up, we can take a look at what is going to be on the Arc Pass for this next season, as well as check out some of the other stuff that in game that has actually changed. But I just want to let you guys know that's the 6.5 Fresh Start and the state of how it's going to be as of right now. So some interesting stuff. The one character thing is going to be interesting. The single server with no cross-realm interactions for the instances is going to be interesting. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting, guys. It's going to be interesting. It's probably my favorite word for this video. For those of you who are wondering, I am going to be playing. I'm going to be playing very, very, very casually though. Like, I'm going to be a fisherman boy and just chill all the time. Like, I'm over it. I've done this multiple times, but it's something to do right now. And there's not a lot of games going on. So, you know, Archeage, great way to pass the time and just fish to your heart's content. You know, who doesn't like being a little fisher boy? But thank you guys for watching. We will be back in a couple days. More videos to come covering this. We'll do a patch, like a full-on patch review once all the patch notes are finalized, and just keep bringing out the information for all of you to share and know. You can find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Zavage, as well on Twitter. So thank you guys. Drop the sub if you like it, and we will see you in Aranor. Peace.